My name is Anastasia from SRT, and it's my pleasure to welcome everyone to our first webinar on community colleges. In the next coming 10 days, we will be hosting some very top universities, community colleges, and some very specific institutions offering most inquired measures such as art, design, business, international relations, and more. So you can see our upcoming schedule on the bottom showing already on your screen. Also, I would like to say very good morning to our presenters today who are joining us at the 7 a.m. Local time. And of course, our moderator who is joining us from Ukraine, Nelly Patrick. Don't forget to interact in the chat with us, which is appearing on the right side of your screen. You can ask your questions during the session at any time, and we will be happy to answer your questions in the end of the session. So the session today will take approximately 1 hour, and I would like now to invite Nelly to join us. Welcome, Nelly, and the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. My name is Nelly. Thank you for the introduction, Anastasia. So I represent the Education USA Network broadly, but I specifically represent Education USA Ukraine, though I am joining you all this morning from the US, from Michigan. So just to give you an overview of community colleges in the US, since this is what we'll be talking about today, I have a brief presentation. If you have never heard of Education USA, we are an official network of the United States State Department, and we are truly a global network. We work in more than 170 countries with more than 430 advising centers. So we work all around the world, and we are the official source of information on US higher education. Our job really is to provide accurate, comprehensive, and unbiased information about higher education opportunities in the US. So we do not represent or promote certain colleges or universities in the US. We work with all accredited US higher education institutions to work with students to really help them find their best fit, to help them figure out what's going to be really best for them. There are more than 4,000 accredited colleges and universities in the US, so you have a lot of options. And again, we are really here as a resource for you to answer any questions that you have. So I understand that most of you are joining us from Moldova, Georgia, Spain. Maybe there are some other countries, but we work here at EdUSA Ukraine and the Europe Network. We work closely with those advisors. We know them well. So you have an Education USA Advising Center in your country that you can reach out to get a consultation or advice. So that's what we do. So there are some important attributes of the US higher education system that are important to understand in order to talk about community colleges. And these may be different from those in your home countries. So the first is that there is no central governmental body. So in Ukraine, it's called the Ministry of Education. In your countries, it may be something different, but there really is no central body that's managing higher education in the US. There is regional and national accreditation. So again, you know that the diploma you're getting, the degree you're getting, meets a certain standard. But again, that's not really managed by the US government. So that means that there is a lot of independence among higher education institutions, colleges, and universities. They really get to decide things for themselves. Regarding, financial aid, what programs they offer, what degrees they offer. And to me, this is a really great advantage because that means there's a huge diversity of institutions and programs. So as I mentioned, there are more than 4,000 accredited colleges and universities in the US, and they're all different. So that means that when you're exploring higher education in the US, you can really find the college and the program that fits exactly what you need because they're all so different. And the last thing to know is that there are no national admissions exams. So again, each institution decides for themselves what they want their admission criteria to be. And most universities have and colleges have a holistic admissions process. So they aren't only looking at the numbers, you know, the test of your test scores or your grades. They really want to see who you are as a person. And one thing that my colleagues will talk about in regards to community colleges is that those admissions requirements differ even more than those of four-year colleges and universities. So we'll speak more about that in a minute. So since we're speaking about community colleges, I just want to explain how this fits into the different types of higher education institutions that exist in the US. So there are public colleges or universities and private colleges or universities. These can be four-year, colleges or universities, and it's important to understand that, again, depending on where you're from and your local language, in the US context, college and university are really used as synonyms. So as I mentioned, in Ukraine, colleges and universities are two very distinct things, but it's important to know that in the US, we really use those words as synonyms. And sometimes we even just say school. Where did you go to school? Usually we're talking about college or university. So public colleges, private colleges or universities, those are typically four-year universities where you can earn a bachelor's degree. And some of them, of course, may even offer master's or PhD degrees, but not all of them do. So community colleges, which is what we're going to talk about today, are typically two-year colleges, although as I understand it, even some community colleges are offering bachelor's degrees now, but my colleagues can speak about that later. But generally speaking, these are two-year colleges, so you cannot earn a bachelor's degree there, but you can get an associate's degree there, a two-year degree. And these fit into what we call the 2+2 model. So it's possible to study at a community college for 2 years, get an associate's degree, and then transfer to a public college or a private college or a university, study for 2 more years, and in 4 years you have a bachelor's degree. And this is becoming more and more popular for international students, and we'll see why in just a moment. All right, so I already spoke about this a little bit, but just reiterating what they are. They offer 2-year programs. These can be used as a stepping stone to a 4-year bachelor's degree in this 2+2 system, as I mentioned. There are over 1,000 community colleges in the US, so there's a really wide network. And again, they're all diverse. They're all very different. Some of them are in urban centers or more suburban areas or even rural areas. So just like other colleges and universities, you can find community colleges in big cities or in more rural areas outside of cities in the suburbs. So again, you have a lot of options and they're all very different. Some of them are really large with really large student populations and some of them are smaller. But overall, their missions of community colleges largely is to increase access to higher education. We'll see why in a moment, but generally speaking, they are much more inexpensive than 4-year colleges or universities, and that helps give students access to higher education. They are called community colleges, so they really respond to what the community needs. They really respond to the industries and the needs of the community in which they are located. And they serve diverse student populations. So again, in terms of increasing access to higher education, they serve student populations that are diverse in terms of race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status. So those are really their 3 missions. So why would you do this 2+2 option, and why is it becoming more popular for international students, as I mentioned? So they are much less expensive than 4-year colleges and universities. I'm sure my colleagues will talk about this. They might even have a chart comparing the prices of community colleges and 4-year colleges. There's a more flexible admissions process. So often their deadlines for submitting applications are much later than for 4-year colleges or universities, and they typically have fewer requirements. So there's not as high of a barrier to enrolling into the college. Again, you can earn credits towards a bachelor's degree. So they often have agreements with four-year colleges and universities called transfer agreements, which my colleagues will talk about. But typically, all of the credits that you take at a community college, or most of them, can then be transferred on to a four-year bachelor's degree. And most community colleges have transfer centers with staff whose job it is to help you figure out what your next step is going to be. So there are dedicated staff there to help you figure out what would be your next step if you wanted to continue on for 2 more years and get a bachelor's degree. They can make you more competitive than a first-year student. So this is a really great advantage where if you study at a community college for 2 years, you actually have much higher chances of getting accepted into some of the more competitive schools in the US, competitive universities in the US, than if you applied as a first-year freshman student. And most of them have small class sizes, so you get a lot of attention from professors, hands-on knowledge, and things like that. So these are just some of the benefits of community colleges that my colleagues will expand on in just a moment. Before I pass it over to my colleague, I just wanted to tell you that this is our website. This is our global website where you can find an advising center in your country. You can find out more information about community colleges and the 2+2 system. So that's a really great place to start. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Talia Saplat from Edmonds Community College.
Good morning and welcome. Yes, my name is Talia and I'm from Edmonds Community College, and I'm going to be talking specifically about my school, which is located in Washington State. Just waiting for my slideshow here.
Do you know where you belong? Do you know where you belong? Where you find the inspiration to turn your passion into purpose? Where do you get the tools you need for the future you want? Where can you find your calling and find your community? The people who challenge you, who move you, who work together with you to create something that matters. Find your inspiration. Live your excellence.
Excellent. Hello again. So I'm going to go briefly over Edmonds Community College. I won't talk too much about the 2+2 system since my colleague has already described that to you. But specifically, Edmonds is located in Washington State, which is located in the Pacific Northwest area of the United States. We're in a pretty great location as we're about 2 hours from California by plane, as well as about 2 hours to Vancouver, Canada. So very prime location. The biggest city in Washington State is Seattle, which is approximately 25 minutes from our college. If you're familiar with Microsoft, Amazon, Boeing, those are some of the companies here that are very popular around the world. So a lot of tech companies like California, but we also have a lot of mountains. We have a lot of water. And so if you like the outdoors, this is a great place for you. We also have a lot of arts and culture. The college is located about, again, 25-30 minutes from downtown Seattle. We are surrounded by numerous restaurants. We have a transit center on campus. There are shopping malls, and there's a lot of recreation to do for students. You don't need a car to live here or attend school here. You can take the bus, you can ride your bike, or you can walk. We have a dedicated office just to serve students from outside of the United States. We are multilingual. All of us have lived or worked outside of the United States, so we have a really good idea of how to serve students from another country. We also provide all of the advising free of charge. Any support that you need in your classes are also provided, like tutoring, also free of charge. It's a great learning environment. As my colleague mentioned, community colleges are typically smaller than universities. At Edmonds, we have no more than 20 students in our class. So you get one-on-one attention from the professors for whom you're taking classes from. We have flexible admissions. What that means is that you can start at 4 different times a year. We are a quarter system, so every 3 months you will change classes. You can start in September, January, April, or in July. For Edmonds, we're slightly different than some of the other colleges. We do not require TOEFL, IELTS, SAT to be accepted to our school. If you take those, great. That's just to determine your level of English. If you don't take those tests, when you arrive on the campus during 1 week orientation, which is before school starts, you will take the English and math placement test. Again, it's just to place you. You will not fail the test. And to attend Edmonds, you need to be a minimum of 16 years old. You can have a high school diploma from your country, or you don't have to have a high school diploma from your country. Because at Edmonds, we offer a unique program called High School to University, which means you can get your U.S. high school diploma at the same time you are working on your 2-year associate transfer degree. We provide great academic advising for students. From day one, you will be working with an advisor to determine what your goals are. Do you want to just take a gap year? No problem. Do you want to study 3 months? No problem. Do you want to work on a certificate program, 6-9 months? No problem. But typically, majority of our students will come for 2 years to get the associate degree because their goal is to transfer to one of the 4,000 plus universities in the United States, as well as outside of the United States. So as an example, we get many European students who come to Edmonds as part of their gap year, academic gap year. After that, they take their credits and they go back home to their country and they transfer to a university either in their country or another European country. Again, those services are free of charge to students. And in the United States, after you complete a 9-month certificate or a 2-year degree, you have the option to go to work outside, meaning optional practical training before you start your university. Again, you have 3 quarters a year. The nice thing about community colleges is that it prepares you for typically any major, and we have hundreds of majors in the United States, from robotics to biology to humanities to music courses. So again, you would discuss those goals with your advisor and they would assist you to pick the courses that you need to transfer to the university. Just very quickly, as my colleague Nellie mentioned, the cost of community college is very affordable. At Edmonds, for everything for 1 year, 9 months, your tuition, books, supplies, health insurance, and your housing comes up to approximately $19,500 US dollars. You don't pay all of that at once. You pay it every 3 months while you are attending school. Just to give you a comparison, this is a public university in Washington State. Their tuition is $56,000, and the private university here in Washington State is about $65,000. So again, it's quite a cost savings, and you can still meet your goal of transferring to university. This is just the breakdown of costs for your entertainment. Again, community colleges prepare you for any major. We will provide you with advising. We will work with our university partners. We have many, many university partners around the country and abroad. However, we don't have to have a relationship to work with those universities because of the 2+2 system. 2 years in a college plus 2 years in the university will give you your bachelor's degree. We assist you with your application process to the universities. We host universities on our campus 2 times a year, between 80 and 90 universities from all over the United States, and also from Canada and from Europe. Again, any major. If you're not sure about what you want to major in the United States, the nice thing is to start in a community college because you have the opportunity to take different courses. So as an example, our European students, they come and they explore many different faculties, humanities, social science, engineering, because oftentimes they're not really sure what they want to study, so they take a variety of different types of classes. This is just a small list of courses that are available to you. We have students from over 64 countries all over the world. All of our students who want to go to university have been accepted to more than one university. We have a 100% transfer rate, and the average grade point average is 3.8 out of 4. Typically, most students go engineering, business, computer science, but again, you can study anything. Just very quickly, the next few slides are slides of where our students have transferred. So even if you come to school in Washington State, you can go to University of California, you can go to Michigan, you can go to Canada. The key thing is to work with the academic advisor who is located on your college campus so that you pick the appropriate courses that will follow you to your year 3 in the university of your choice. Okay, this is our high school to university program. Again, you can come without a U.S. high school diploma. We will give you credit for what you studied in your home country, and we will issue you the U.S. high school diploma. If you need to work on your English or you'd like to study English in America, we also offer English as a second language courses. Edmonds is pretty unique. More and more colleges, community colleges, are offering bachelor's degree, as Nellie from US Education mentioned. At Edmonds, we currently have 1 bachelor's degree and a second one in information technology coming in this September. We have a great culinary arts program. We have hospitality. So if you want to just come for a certificate, 6-month, 9-month, excuse me, 1-year certificate, that's also an option. So you have many, many different choices. Like a university, Edmonds has its own housing department. We have dormitories on campus, and we also have host families. So it's entirely up to you if you'd like to live in our dormitories or if you'd like to live in host families. So my time is running out, so I'm just going to quickly say we're here to help. We're very excited. All the services that you need to be successful are available. There's also sports that you can get involved in. There's clubs that you can get involved in. We also provide scholarships. We have a new STEM building coming on. And next, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Christopher Toribio, and he represents Orange Coast College. Thank you for your time.
Ciao, mi chiamo Gabriele Simonti. Hi, my name is Gabriele Simonti. I choose OCC because it's one of the top community college in California for transferring to the CSU and the UC system, and also because I'm playing water polo and the water polo program is amazing. I contacted the coach and he immediately replied to me, and actually he helped me a lot to go over like a lot of process that I have to follow to apply to OCC, and I really love it. Absolutely, I would recommend this place to everyone because it's a great experience of life. You can actually work both for education and be a successful athlete, and the coach will help you to follow the right path. Benvenuti a OCC.
All right, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. So yes, that video is one of our students, Gabriele. He actually transferred to George Washington University on a full NCAA Division I athletic scholarship. Prior to coming to OCC, he was actually on the Italian junior national team. So if you're interested in learning more and also seeing a lot more of our videos, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Orange Coast College. And there's a lot of videos about our campus. You can see what that looks like, our programs, and also profiles of our students. Thank you, Talia, for the introduction. My name is Christopher Toribio. I am the Director of International Admissions for Orange Coast College in California. So as I move along with this presentation, we really wanted to focus this presentation on the two things that we're really proud of at OCC. One is our campus, just because we have so many opportunities for our students. And number two, actually more important, is our students. So When you pay attention to the slide and see all the students in my presentation, these are students that we know. These are students that have stories. So pay attention to the captions. So these are 3 of our international students right here. They represent the diversity at Orange Coast College in terms of the countries that they come from, the majors that they pursue, and also their own personal stories as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on with my presentation and give you a quick introduction about OCC. Okay. Orange Coast College is actually technically one of the newer community colleges in California. We were founded in 1947. Located in Costa Mesa, California. Now, California is the #1 destination for students studying abroad. So wonderful opportunities. There's a lot of different universities. Specifically in California, there's 115 community colleges and roughly about 35 public universities and various private universities as well. What makes OCC unique is that we're one of the largest community colleges in California, probably one of the largest community colleges in the US as well. We have a total enrollment of 24,000 students, 1,400 international students representing 80 countries. In fact, we're the 8th largest host community college for international students in the US and the 2nd in Southern California. We're also large in terms of the number of programs that we offer. So we offer more than 130 different programs in actual size. So our campus is comprised of 80 buildings and a maritime academy in Newport Beach. So again, here's some of our students, just a little bit of background of Costa Mesa, California. It's located in an area called Orange County, which is between Los Angeles and San Diego. And that's the reason why we're called Orange Coast. So we're orange because of Orange County, and we're coast because we're right by the coastline. More familiar is that we're 15 minutes away from Disneyland Resort and some of California's most popular beaches, and home to South Coast Plaza, which is the largest shopping mall in the state of California, which is just minutes away from our campus. The weather in California is pretty consistently warm. We do get the coastal breeze, so it's not too hot. So students are able to enjoy, our community gets to really enjoy nice weather throughout the year. And here's some of our international students. Victoria, who transferred to Bentley University in Boston, and Nathan from Brazil, who transferred to Florida International University. He'll be graduating this year. Okay, so what makes OCC unique, I think, is that we have a lot of distinctions. And I think our campus community has done a lot to really put us at the forefront of just amazing things that we have accomplished throughout the years. In fact, we were the first university and college in the world with a recycle center. So programs such as sustainability and things like that, we've been at the forefront for a really long time. We were the first community college to win 4 straight national championships in speech and debate. We beat universities in this competition. We're the only community college that competes in crews, so that's our rowing program. We compete against other universities, and we came 8th in the national championships. And we're also the first community college to compete in the esports national championships. So esports is a competitive video game program, and we placed 4th overall, beating the founding school, which was UC Irvine. The student down at the bottom, she's from France. She is a digital art major. She was doing her OPT prior to the pandemic at Disney. And I'll explain that a little bit more. She's a narrative illustration major. Okay, and I'm just going to highlight some of our programs. So again, 130 different programs. You know, we do have the common ones such as business, engineering, economics, psychology, but I really just wanted to point out some of our most unique ones at OCC. We have the largest 2-year marine science program in the United States. So we have an on-campus aquarium. In fact, it's the only student-led research aquarium in the state of California. And we're also the only community college, actually the only college in the US that offers a certificate in aquarium science. A lot of students don't think that you can do research at a community college, but we have many different opportunities for that. In fact, this is one of our international students who works as a student researcher at our aquarium. He cleans the tanks, he does research, and we take students on research expeditions as well, as you can see in the photo at the bottom left. So yes, research, we want to provide you a holistic college university experience in your first 2 years. So research is a big part of what we do at OCC. Okay, so Talia kind of mentioned, we do have a lot of students from Europe coming to us on their gap year. So why don't you do a fun program? So one of our most unique programs is our School of Sailing and Seamanship located in Newport Harbor. We're the only 2-year college in the US that offers this program. It's basically our sailing and yachting program. So you get to do practical training on our 90-foot yacht called the Nordic Star. It's a $15 million vessel that we use as a training facility. So again, we really cater to multiple types of programs, multiple types of career options, and we really want students to get take advantage of the low-cost tuition to really explore your options. Okay. Another strong program that we do offer is our film and television program. It's really focused on film production. And a lot of students don't know that some of the top movie producers in the world actually came from two-year community colleges in California. One is specifically is George Lucas, for example. Steven Spielberg took classes at a community college. And our students who come to our film and television program, when they transfer to a university, they're very well prepared. They have a strong portfolio. They know how to use a lot of the most updated technology for our film and television program. And a lot of our students actually do get hired after their two-year degree. We have students who work for Disney, Universal Studios, Columbia Pictures. We have students who worked on sets of movies like Avatar, Star Wars, Star Trek. So there's a lot of opportunities for practical training and also industry experience. This is one of our students from Brazil who transferred to the new school, and he recently earned his bachelor's degree in cinematography. We also have a partnership with the Newport Beach Film Festival, where students will display their short films every single year to a broader audience. Again, our visual and performing arts program, very, very strong, very much emphasized. Our visual arts programs include narrative illustration, which is like comic book, manga illustration, digital sculpting. We have a new program in VR and AR technology, so virtual and augmented reality, 2D, 3D animation, fashion, interior design. Our interior design program is actually unique. We also teach students how to design interior spaces for private yachts and private planes. Another great career opportunity for our students. And also one of our most famous professors is the fashion designer, Paul Frank, who is a graduate of Orange Coast College. If you've seen his fashion brand before, the Monkey, he actually drew that while he was a student at OCC, and it became a big success. He no longer owns Paul Frank, ironically, but now he just teaches fashion at OCC. Our professors overall have really great experience, a lot of great academic experience. A lot of our professors teach at the neighboring universities, such as UC Irvine, Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Long Beach, even UCLA, Berkeley, Chapman. So there's a lot of great opportunities. You're basically taking the same classes at a university because it's really taught by the same people. Okay, our architecture, engineering, and technology program, our STEM has been very much emphasized at our school. We have 3 different types of architecture programs, and students really go to the top, of their potential. This is one of our international students from Mongolia who earned a full tuition right scholarship to MIT and recently earned her master's degree from Harvard University, and that started as a community college student at Orange Coast College. We have internship opportunities as well. We have students who interned at NASA, SpaceX, Boeing, so there's a lot of great opportunities for internships added to your community college. Our technology program, we have more than $1 million worth of equipment in our technology department, including flight simulators for our aviation science program. We have a makerspace, so you learn how to make things. So there's a lot of opportunities for the STEM fields for our students. And we'll continue to do that as we go along. Okay. Athletics, we have one of the strongest 2-year athletic programs in the United States. In fact, 94 student athletes last year transferred to compete in the NCAA. And here's some of our examples of our international students actually, who went on to transfer for scholarship to the NCAA level. So we offer 23 different sports teams, 14 women's sports and 13 men's sports. So very comprehensive. We basically offer every competitive athletic program that is possible, that is offered in California. Okay, and here's some of our facilities. So one of our most newest buildings is our planetarium. So we have a really strong program in astronomy and astrophysics. And again, we had that internship at NASA, and this had to do a big part of that as well too. But our community planetarium is open to our students. This is also an on-campus job that you can work in. So, and I'm gonna move on to the next one. So what makes OCC unique is actually we're the only community college in Southern California with on-campus student housing. Our on-campus student housing is apartment style. And you also get your own room, but it's a residence hall that is on our campus. So we're really focused on student engagement. We're really focused on really just integrating our students to our campus community. And our on-campus student housing is really going to take that to the next level. I forgot to mention, if you're interested in learning more about these particular programs, just check out our Instagram handles for each one. So if you see the Instagram logo, you can go ahead and follow that particular program on Instagram as well. Okay. Transfer success. So again, we have transfer agreements with the University of California and California State. In fact, all 115 community colleges in California has these transfer agreements with all our public universities in the state of California. The UC and Cal States, they also don't have a preference. So it really doesn't matter which community college that you go to in California, you will have just the same opportunity for you to transfer to the University of California or California State. But just some transfer statistics, we're the #1 community college for the number of transfers to UC and Cal State combined. And our international students last year transferred to 115 universities. We don't know the actual number of student acceptances. That's hard to track, but based on where the students transferred their I-20 or their CVIS number or their F1 visa, they transferred to 115 universities last year. And here's our top 5 universities for transfer. Students, again, can go basically anywhere. One of the transfer programs that we do have is our Georgetown University recommendation program. And this is one of our international students who benefited from that, and she's transferring to Georgetown University in the fall, 2020. Okay. All right, so financing your education. So in California, it is somewhat pricey to study in California. However, attending a community college, you can save a lot of money. The average cost for the University of California for international students is roughly about $65,000 a year. And most private universities in California can range anywhere from $70,000 to $80,000. So if you're looking to save money, start at a community college. Our total cost of attendance is definitely a lot cheaper, a lot more affordable. And it's really nice to have an additional $40,000 in your pocket, before after you're completing your undergraduate degree. So another opportunity is OPT, the optional practical training. So after your 2-year associate's degree and also your certificate program, you can work for 1 year in a job that is related to your program. And this is one of our international students from El Salvador. She earned her associate's degree recently in aviation science, and now she's working OPT for an aviation consulting firm here in California. All right, so again, we're very heavy on social media, so I just wanted to mention one of our social media students, our influencers. His name is Nan Javia. He has a lot of really great content about studying in the US, what it's like to be a community college student, about OCC, even applying for the visa process. He actually did a video on the day that he got the visa, so really great content. Go ahead and subscribe to his YouTube channel. You can interact with him as well too. One of his newest videos is the secret of earning a full tuition right scholarships, which he did. He transferred to Texas Christian University with a tuition scholarship worth $200,000, which actually covers his last 2 years of undergraduate studies and also money if he wants to pursue graduate studies at the university as well. He's not the only only international student at our school that got this scholarship. We have another student who also got this scholarship as well. But again, we really want you to connect with our students. I believe that a student voice is an authentic voice. So by going on these students' YouTube channels or social media, go ahead and interact with them, and they'll really give you an authentic, a real insight onto their experiences at our school. Okay. We also have an intensive English language program for students. So if you don't meet our English proficiency requirement, this is a great way for you to learn foundational English. It's 8-week sessions. Right now, because of COVID-19, our classes are online, and it leads to transfer to university eventually. So you'll do our intensive English language program, meet our minimum level, come to our school, or enroll in your degree program, and eventually transfer to university. And this is one of our students who has done that, and she's transferring to UC Berkeley in the fall. Okay, admissions, really simple process for open enrollment. What we do not require is the SAT or the ACT. We just require proof of English proficiency, either the IELTS, TOEFL, or Duolingo. I highly recommend students to take the Duolingo. It's just more accessible and it's a lot cheaper for students. I do have a free coupon code, so if you do decide to apply to Orange Coast College, let me know so you can take the Duolingo test for free. So for the fall 2020, we're still accepting applications, but we are doing classes online for the fall 2020, so you don't need a visa to start your classes at OCC in the fall. And basically, it's a streamlined process. This is one of our international students who works in our admissions office. You can connect with her on Unibuddy, which is a chat tool on our website. So again, open enrollment. As long as you meet the minimum requirements, you're pretty much good to go. You just have to complete high school, or if you don't complete high school, you have to wait until you're 18 years old to enroll. Okay, and that's basically just a broad overview about OCC. We have a lot going on, so if you have any further questions, I'll be happy to answer, and I look forward to talking to you. And I'm going to hand the presentation over to my fellow community college colleague, Kathleen Kennedy from the Colleges of Contra Costa. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, hi, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. Well, somebody tell me, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Katie. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. I don't know what's happening with the camera, but I'll just get on with it and get on to the presentation. So, Colleges of Contra Costa, sorry my camera's not working, is in the San Francisco Bay Area, and there's 3 colleges. There's Contra Costa College, DVC, and Los Medanos College. So I'll be as fast as I can, because we've got 3 to get through. So, location, San Francisco, Northern California, beautiful area. Next. So this map, this is a metro map or the BART map, to give you an idea where the colleges are in relation to San Francisco. So there's DVC in the middle, CCC, which is the nearest to San Francisco, and LMC. So why we show this, it shows how easy it is to get around, because you have a metro or train into San Francisco and the airport. So more area, what's around, there's beautiful beaches, skiing, there's the wine country, there's all kinds of wonderful places to visit. Cost, very important for everybody. The cost is the same, the tuition is the same at all 3 of the colleges. It's about $10,000 a year. Again, as we've been hearing everywhere, it's a great way to save money. So you'll see the tuition for the first 2 years is about $20,000 a year, the tuition, the books, and then when you transfer, it will cost a bit more. We put these examples because of the universities of California, because that's where most of our international students transfer to. So, services, very important. Services is very important for, whoops, whoa, got lost. Gotta go back. What happened? Oh, we're back. We're back. Okay. Services we've got for you. It's very important, services as an international student, because you are special. So immigration advising, counseling on education studies, what to study, free tutoring to help you in any courses. And of course, if you want to transfer to get a bachelor's degree, how to help you, give you advice where you can transfer to. And of course, career services. So, next. Nope. Something happened. Something happened.
Click on the close button and you will close that link.
This guy close, see you later. Sorry.
I just shared the link for you, and if you touch the close button, it will disappear from your screen if it's bothering you.
Oh, okay. Yes, it is. Okay. All right. Anyway, there you go. Services, great services. Next, Contra Costa. Here's a picture of the campus. This is the one that's nearest to San Francisco. And why choose Contra Costa College? Well, because it's near San Francisco, which is great. It only has 24 students in each class. It has a prize-winning, presidential award-winning STEM program. And 50% of the international students transfer to universities of California. So next. And now this is DVC, Diablo Valley College. This is a picture of the campus. And why DVC? Well, it's the biggest of the 3 campuses and has 74 students, clubs and organizations. So there's always all kinds of fun things to join and to make friends, which is important. It's also, we're very proud, it's the #1 in transfers to 4-year institutions. Of course, in the UCs are included in those, but to any 4-year institutions. And it's #1 in transfers with international students to UC Berkeley and UC Davis. As a matter of fact, 38% of the international students have transferred to UC Berkeley. Over 1,000 students to UC Berkeley, international students in the last 10 years. So if you want to go to UC Berkeley, that's a good choice. So, and here we go, LMC. LMC, there's a picture of the campus. This one's just a bit further. It's our newest campus. So it's a bit smaller with the student population, but that has its advantages. So why choose LMC is because, well, it's been voted the #6 best community college in the US. That's kind of nice, by College Choice magazine. This is very helpful. I think it's wonderful. I don't know if the other colleges have it, but there's the mentor program. So each international student has a buddy to help them, basically with anything they need from the day they get there and the whole time they're studying there. And again, if a goal could be UCLA or other university partners, we have an honors program. So if you're involved in the honors program, the students who were involved in the honors program, 79% were admitted to UCLA. That's a lot. So what do you need to get into the campus, to one of the colleges? Basically, to be a high school graduate. And if you're over 18, we'll accept you. And different ways, of course, to prove your English abilities. You can see there's lots there. If you're studying at an international school or an IB school, you don't need to prove your English level because we believe you speak English well because you've been studying in English. You just show us that your transcripts. And so options, we have the start dates, which is good. We're semesters, we're not quarters. So we're 4.5 months in splitting the academic year in 2. So you start in the fall or you start in the spring, which is January. And if you want to, we also have 2 other start dates. So you could start earlier if you missed the fall start date or the spring start date. Options, more options, very important. And this is a picture of DVC, as a matter of fact, of the campus. So majors, lots of majors. As you can see, the other community colleges do also, but these are the most popular majors with international students. But we have hundreds of over 125 degree programs and majors. So it could be dance, film, architecture, just about anything you would like to study. Where can you live? We have apartments. And all campuses have those apartments are very nearby. DVC, Diablo Valley College, has a guaranteed apartment option. Here's some pictures of the apartments near DVC. Or in a homestay program. Homestay is probably the most economical program. The good thing about homestay is you have your own room and you have meals, which is kind of nice if you don't like cooking for yourself. So transfers. Transfers is important. This is our transfers in the last 5 years. And you can see that UC Berkeley, UCLA, UC San Diego are our most popular options. So I'll go back one bit, okay? And those we show the first 3 at the top, because every year that's where the most of our students transfer to. Then the second bunch, Davis, Irvine, Riverside, Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, our students transfer there also, of course. And we have guarantees into these universities. But you don't have to stay in California. That's what's important. As you can see with all the community colleges, you can go to Cornell or Johns Hopkins or NYU. And we have those listed very tiny there, but you can see just some examples of where students transfer to in the last few years. So, and that is it. And I know it's very fast, a lot of information for 3 different colleges, but there's a lot to offer, and each one has its own specialities. So there's my email, and I'm happy to WhatsApp or email with you anytime you like. Thank you.
Kathy, and thank you all for your presentations. And now we will get to the Q&A portion, because our viewers have been putting excellent questions in the chat. So Chris, Talia, I see you. If you could join with your cameras, that would be awesome. Okay, fantastic. So here's our first question, and anyone who wants to answer can jump in. Are there credits for community college applications for A-level and IB students to reduce the length of the course as there are with 4-year colleges and universities?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do transfer IB and AP and A levels, and it's also going to transfer to the university that you eventually end up to as well.
Exactly what Chris said as well for admins, and you can actually go on our website and see the list of courses that will transfer from IB. Your A level will have to be evaluated by our credentials evaluator.
Yes, and at the college is a Contra Costa also. Yes.
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, students, just to let you know, most IB and A levels will really just satisfy 1 semester of study. It doesn't typically take care of a whole year. So keep that in mind as well. But we will do that.
Great. All right, next question. When transferring to a university, so if a student is doing the 2+2 system, do students need to come back to their own country and get an F1 visa again, or can they do the visa process in the States?
It's continuous. They don't have to go back to their own country.
No.
Great. All right, easy answer. All right, next one. For exercise science, for those of you who have those programs at your colleges, are there requirements for an A-level in science, or will sports science at A-level be good enough?
Again, most of us are open enrollment, so we have a kinesiology program at OCC, so we don't really have a preference on what A levels that you take. But sure, go ahead and take them. They might be able to satisfy some sort of transfer credit, but we specifically don't have a requirement on a course for that.
It's true.
Talia, Kathy, you agree?
Yes, I definitely agree with Chris.
Great. Okay. Next one here. I want to study a 3-year career. If I study in a community college, am I just going to do 2 years in the college and 2 years in the university, or is it different?
Depends where.
That's an interesting question. So 3-year career. So again, typically in the US, for you to earn an undergraduate degree, you have to complete 4 years of study. So in terms of a 3-year career, Ellie, go ahead and just provide something like a specific example. So that way we can guide you a little bit more on that. But again, in the US, typically an undergraduate degree takes 4 years of study. You could technically do 3 years, but it's just based on the satisfactory of units that you've completed. but we don't. Yeah, provide us more information. We
Yeah.
can help you.
Great. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I was combining both questions. For Edmonds, you don't need a common app. We have our own online application.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And most community
Great.
colleges don't use a common app.
Yeah. We
Mhm.
don't do the Common App either, so we have our own for international
Right.
students.
Right.
Common App is typically just for four-year universities.
Right.
Mhm.
The same. Yeah.
Mhm. So Ellie, who asked that question, can you just clarify in the chat what you mean by 3-year career, and we'll get back to your question. Okay, a few specifically for Talia that I see here. Does Edmonds College have dorms, and do you offer scholarships?
Yes, Edmonds actually has 2 dormitories on campus. We have a brand new dormitory that is opening up also this August. And we do provide scholarships to international students, and they vary from $1,000 up. It just depends on students' need and students' grades.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. We'll pass this next one to Kathy. Can a student study 2 majors at the same time? For example, computer science and business.
Well, they could. There's no problem studying computer science and business because you're going to study all kinds of courses during the 2 years. It depends what they're going to major in later when they get their bachelor degree. But at the colleges, of course, they can study both at the same time. But later on, they'll probably decide, okay, my major is going to be this, and decide which one, and then they could have a minor or do 2 majors when they get their bachelor's degree. But who will help them will be their counselor. That's what's important. I'm sure it's the same in all the community colleges, is to talk to your counselor to get advice on what you should study for your future bachelor's degree. But no problem, basically.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Can I add to that, actually? Sorry, can I add
Please,
to
yeah.
that? So you might actually want to condense that major if you want to do both. There's a program called Business Informatics that does combine both aspects of computer science and business. So you can also do 2 majors, but there's actually a combined major that has those aspects as well. Again, and that program is called Business Informatics, and many universities offer that program.
That's true.
Fantastic. Talia, we'll give this next one to you. Can international students work on campus jobs in their first year?
The college and or the university can work only on campus. You can work outside of campus after you graduate with a minimum of a 9-month certificate or 1-year certificate or a 2-year degree. At Edmonds, we have over 300 of our international students working on our campus right now.
Mm-hmm. And just to clarify, in terms of working on campus jobs, students really shouldn't depend on that to pay, a significant portion of their tuition, right?
That's actually a very good point. It's like supplemental pocket money. So when you're to attend school in the United States, you have to show your ability to pay. And so if you're thinking that I'm going to a school that is $20,000 a year, but I only have $19,000 and I will make the other $1,000, you don't want to do that. So it's kind of like extra money.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right.
Great. Wonderful. All right. So, Chris, we got clarification from Ellie. She would like to study biomedical science. Can you speak to the path that a student might take for that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So biomedical science, it can be pursued as an undergraduate degree in the US. Most likely, that will be a 4-year degree program. So if you do come the community college route, you'll do 2 years with us and 2 years at a university. I don't think that program can be condensed in 3 years unless you do IB, AP credit, or A levels. But please expect that if you're pursuing any undergraduate major in the US, you're going to be studying a total of 4 years. You can do 3 years, but that's extra summer classes and extra credit that you've already earned prior to coming to our schools.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah, just to highlight that, because it may differ, Ellie, from the education system in your home country, is that typical undergraduate degree, 4 years, unless, exactly as Chris said, you really condense it with a lot of extra work. All right. I'm not seeing any more questions, so maybe we'll do a last call. Oh, there's one more. Kathy, I think you could answer this one. What is the average GPA of those who transferred to Berkeley?
It depends on the major. That's what it does. If they want to get into the Haas School of Business, which lots of our students transfer to the Haas School of Business, it's very high. It's like 3.8 to 4.0. But for example, for architecture, Turkish girl, she had a 3.2 and she transferred to UC Berkeley. So it depends on your major. For example, in environmental science, you don't need such a high GPA. You really don't. It just depends. Engineering is very competitive, so it would be very high, for example. Engineering would be.
Sorry, can I add to that? I used to be an admissions officer for UC, so I can add a little bit more context to that. So when you're transferring specifically to the University of California, it's based on the number of units that you've completed at the community colleges. So how the curriculum is designed is literally you're mimicking or you're doing the exact 2 years that you'll do if you were a freshman or first 2-year student at UC Berkeley. So it's really based on the units that you completed and the specific units that you completed first. So that's the first thing that they look at. Kathy is right. It really just depends on the major of where you are, of what you're applying to, that will have varying GPA requirements. But what's great about the California community colleges is that we do have UC representatives that come to our campus to really guide you through this process. So they do transfer workshop, application workshops, and your academic advisor is going to create what's called a degree works plan to ensure that you're taking the right classes to apply to those specific universities in California. There's actually a website that you can actually refer to if you're interested in transfer to California universities. It's called assist.org, and it basically has every transfer curriculum for every program offered at all 115 community colleges to all majors in UC and Cal State. So refer to that website for more information.
Right. And no, it's really helpful, assist.org. It definitely is. Yeah.
Can I just add to that, Nellie, having traveled to school? As you pointed out earlier in the beginning of this presentation, that most universities, especially in California, do a comprehensive review. And so they're looking at the credits, of course, like Chris said, the GPA, but also what they call the PIQs, personal interest questions. And so students need to be really well prepared in selling themselves and answering those questions quite thoroughly. Because if you can go to UC Berkeley with a 3.2 and up, then they're also looking at all the other factors, i.e. the individual as a whole. So that's critical as well.
No, definitely. Taya's right on that. And there's so many things you can do at the community college. You can be in clubs and sports and volunteer, and all those are little points. I mean, they make you a better candidate for any university, not just UC's. If your goal is a top-ranked university, they want to see more than just good grades. So that's what everyone.
And we got clarification on that question that the student is thinking about media studies. So I would imagine that would be less competitive than the School of Business that you mentioned.
Could be, right. I'm not sure if I would have to check if that's one of the, could be a better place than UC Berkeley for media studies. That's another thing I think students should consider is not the name, it's what's best for what you want to study. And that's where your counselors come in, and say, yeah, sure, UC Berkeley's are great, but it's not the best for you for media studies. Let's find what other schools are best for you. So.
Great. And transfer centers can help students determine that, right?
Totally. Yes.
Great.
Well, universities in the US offer the same majors. So you need to pick the university that has the major, like Kathy is saying, that is either best for you or even is offered. I mean, we get a lot of students that say, I'm going to go to UC Berkeley and study marketing. UC Berkeley does not offer marketing, folks, as an example.
Yeah, no, totally.
Great.
And I'll just say one little thing. That's another, what's very important about the community college is it gives you time to figure out what is the best major for you, and then what is the best place for you for what you want to study. Instead of starting all right from the beginning of 4-year college, because I think it's harder for international students that once they're in a place, it's harder for them to say, okay, I'm leaving, I'm going to transfer, if they were in a 4-year university. But the 2-year, you've got to go. You've got to get, and you're going to find the best place for you. So that's an advantage of the 2+2, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Great. Chris, how about this one for you? And this will be our last question. Is it an advantage to submit an SAT exam score to community colleges if it's not required, as I think it usually is not?
Yeah, it's not a requirement to take the SAT or ACT. So save your money, save your $40. But if you do have it, for some community colleges, it can meet the English proficiency requirement. So if you do have the SAT score, you don't maybe have to take TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. So I guess that's the only real advantage of having an SAT is that, but it's not required for admissions to. I can't think of a community college that requires SAT. However, there are some universities when you transfer that do require the SAT, so it's good to have that on hand anyways, but most do not.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you all watching for your wonderful questions. Thank you to our presenters. I guess I will hand it over to the SRT team if they have any final comments or conclusions.
Yes, this is Anastasia here from the backstage. You guys can stay with your cameras on and wave one more time for goodbye to our lovely audience today. Thank you, Nelly, for supporting us and moderating today. And once again, thank you for Kathy, Sally, and Chris. That was wonderful. All right, if you didn't hear some answer to your question, don't worry, our presenters will get back to you over email, so you can expect to hear from them very soon. So with this, SRT wishes you all a wonderful afternoon and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Oh, MJ, thank you. Bye, Nelly. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, Nelly. See you again.